Others will join as well. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Kaizen book review session. As you all know, or as you may have been aware, if you're not, I'm telling you, this is our sixth book, and we're reviewing Making It Big by Femi Otedola. When we started this review, I think Folafolu started it with us, or for us, with Moradeyo as moderator. And then we had Dr. Folarin also coming for the section one. Foma was also the person that amicably moderated for us. And then we now went to Jesu Femi and Kazim reviewing the last session, which is lead from the front and then take a back seat. After that, we had our very exciting game night 13.0, where Ose came first and winner for the first time ever. And so today, the game night was last week. For those of you that joined and participated, you know what I'm saying when I'm saying it was exciting. And so that brings us to today. And simply put, today we are looking at the lesson 3 of the section 1 of Making It Big. And it's titled Self-Belief is Non-Negotiable. Interestingly, this book has one key attribute that many of us struggle with, including myself every now and again. I'm getting a grasp of it, but every now and again, you still find yourself doubting and all. So who will do justice to it? It's none other than Abdul Rahman that would help us, Abdul Rahman Akinola Ismail that would help us review this session, review this lesson, and then we can all contribute as we go on. Hi, Abdul Rahman. Good evening. Just to hear your voice and maybe, if possible, see your face as well, so everyone knows. Thank you so much for joining and for being a reviewer for this. I think I won't say much. I'll allow you to do justice to it. And then we'll take other people's feedback, comments. I would have my own 2 cents as well. And then we'll wrap up as we usually do so. For those of you that have joined in, sit back, relax, fasten your seatbelt as we take another 30 minutes to ride what is going to be an amazing review of self-belief and why it is non-negotiable in our journey in this life. So, Abdurrahman, I yield the mic over to you. Please take it away.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Yeah, very well. Yeah.
So I'm having some issues setting up my camera right now. So just give me a minute for that.
No, it's fine. You can go ahead while you set it up.
Okay. Yes, to begin with, the review for today is going to be from the book Making It Big, as you all know from Femi Otedola's book. So what's the title of this chapter? Self-belief is non-negotiable. So basically, what is self-belief, as according to Mr. Otedola, as told of me, is basically having an idea and pursuing it with conviction that you succeed. So what is this line I just said? Basically, self-belief is, you know, when you have an idea of something and then you believe that, okay, this thing I can do it, and then you strongly believe in yourself and your abilities to do that thing effectively. You grab. So you have to self-belief is basically that characteristics in you that you have to develop that makes you believe that, okay, once I embark on this journey, on this particular journey, I'm going to succeed. You have to, for you to be successful in a particular field or whatever endeavor you are partaking in, you have to believe that, okay, I'm going to succeed in this thing, and you have to make effort towards it. So that is basically what self-belief is. Now, explaining the concept, we Mr. Otedola shared a story in his book where he said, uh, if you read this chapter from towards the beginning, he said something about the story of him witnessing a rickety tanker of diesel spilling in his yard, and then that is like the catalyst that boosted him to start his journey as a oil, as we all know, oil tycoon today that he is. So basically, sometimes, sometimes what we need is just like a little push to enable us to, and a little push and self-belief to enable us to, you know, pursue that dream that we have always wanted to pursue. Where's Sorry, I'm having issues now. Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly. Please go on. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry. Now, what are the little lessons you can get from this book? You can like let me start by saying starting small. Sometimes some of us we want to start something and then we look at the cost and then how do I put it, like the liability, and then all the efforts we are going to put into it and be like, it's not worth it. Sometimes all you need to do is start very small. You don't have to start and then be the biggest in the market. You can start little and then over time you keep adding. We can add over time to the process of the business. For example, now you want to start a business, or I don't know, you want to enter the fashion line, and then you have the idea, you have your plan, and you have your targets, you have set it for yourself. You don't have to be as you don't have to be Versace. You don't have the budget. You don't need to have the budget of Versace to you know to start the business. You can just start small. Maybe acquire some clothes, and then you can partner up with some fashion designers, and then you give them your business, you give them your plan, and then your designs for your brand. Little. That's an example of starting small. You don't have to be an expert in the field. Like you don't have to be number one in the field before we can start the process. So that is example of starting small. And also, let's not forget to, like, you also have to believe in yourself to do it. Most people get discouraged that you see the industry that you want to go into and be like, I can't compete with these people. They are bigger than me. You get discouraged even without starting. Most of the time, a lot of people have this idea. The difference between somebody that's successful and somebody that is not is actually starting. Some of us we give up even without starting. So that is one lesson you need to get from this book. You have to start small and then you see where it leads. Then, secondly, if you notice that, if you look at yourself and then you notice you have some sort of talent. Because some of us we have talents that we know we do, but we are not very confident in our talent, which is not a good attribute. So this book tells us to we have talent and then confidence. We have to have confidence in our talent to actually put it to good use. That is or that is what Mr. Otedola was saying in that chapter. He said if you have a talent, you have to be confident in that talent to actually bring something fruitful from the talent. So if you believe, for example, now I I want to play football, but you don't have the talent, but you have self-belief. You see, that situation now is a very different situation. You might have the confidence, but if you don't have the talent, you are not going to go anywhere. So what I'm trying to say is, if you want to go into something, you look at, okay, do I have the resources to go into this field and successful? And if you see that you have even the tiniest amount of talent and then you know resource to go into that field, just all you need is confidence and then push yourself and you start small. That is also it. Now, going back to being an entrepreneur, because that is who Mr. Otedola is. So he gave us an example of having killer instinct. You know, Sometimes all we need is that instinct, that drive to push us to how do I say it? Now, he gave an example in his book about people who, because of they are scared of financial ruin, they just stay in their work and not actually pursue that. There is a lot of people that work 9 to 5, and they have a dream, but that confined space they're in has like kind of damp that their dream. They just forget about it and be like, I'm not going to take this risk because I have a family. I won't take a risk of leaving my job and then starting my own company or enterprise, that sort of thing. So a lot of people don't want to leave the safety net of their employment. Okay, I know that if I show up at this job 5 times a week, 9 to 5, I'm going to get paid at the end of the month, which can feed my family. A lot of people are scared to leave this box, that box that is constructed by society, to actually pursue our dreams because we weigh the risk and be like, it's not worth it. Sometimes you just have to take risk. That's just the main thing. As an entrepreneur, you have to learn how to take risk, those little risk calculated ones. Some of us, especially the younger guys like me, where we still have someone maybe helping out, sponsoring, we have the opportunity to take risk, especially in the country we usually tend to be like, maybe when I finish the university, when I start doing this, when I start this, okay, I'll start pursuing my dream. No, you have to start now. Start small. You can fail because I'm talking to the younger generation now. So we can fail because we have safety nets. Maybe someone sponsoring us. You can fail and start over again because you have opportunity to start. But when you get to some certain age and you have responsibility, you cannot afford to fail so much. So in this story, Mr. Otedola told us about his unfortunate luck where he bought a cargo of oil from overseas, and the next day, oil prices dropped, which almost left him to financial ruin. He had to sell some of his property to offset the debts. So those are part of the risk. If we are giving up that time, like, oh, I shouldn't pursue this, the risks are too high, this, that, he wouldn't be where he is today. You have sometimes when we are in business, we have, how do I say it? When we are doing a business, and there can be setback. We don't allow that to kill our drive to pursue our dreams because at the end of the day, life is not smooth. So when we get into business, we should know that okay, there will be risk, and then is that drive. We should have that killer instinct that okay, fine, this is a setback. How do I recuperate and recover from this? What's the next step? This and that. And also, before when we're planning, we should also plan for emergencies and miscellaneous expenses, such like that. So that is part of it. Also, as an entrepreneur, we should have the visionary mindset. Let me explain what I mean by that. Seeing the invisible, because most entrepreneurs they have this gift of seeing what other people cannot see. Like they can foresee opportunities and gaps in various markets where normal people can see. Okay, there's the potential right now, maybe the AI market, and AI is coming up recently. I'm just giving an example. So in Nigeria, you look okay. It's not very common in Nigeria. I can maybe take one courses or two in AI, and then you look at problem in society where you can apply this this skill, this your AI skills where you recently got, because it is still a fresh new market in Nigeria because we are not really into it. So we look at the gaps and opportunities in the market. Now if you look at our markets now, most of those vendors in the market, I'm just giving an example. You have a skill of website or web application builder. Most of those women in the market, they don't have skills to build their own website or to reach a larger audience. You can meet them, talk to them and then figure out one way or the other and maybe tell them the benefits of building their own website. They can run ads, this, that. People can contact them from the website and then go from there. Because this generation we are now, you have to be digitally literate because the opportunities are very massive if you can apply real life situations and then find solution for them digitally. So that is just one example of the ability to see vision and holes in the market and opportunities, and you utilize them to your own benefit. You grab. Also, as an entrepreneur, you have to be, you know, let me term it crazy. You know, sometimes if you say that, okay, in the next 5 years, I want to be the leading fashion designer in Nigeria. Some people will look at you and be like, you are crazy. You know, most people will not believe in that dream. Especially shallow-minded people, you'll be like, how do you plan on achieving that? But that is what sets actual entrepreneurs apart from normal people, because they are crazy about their dream. If you are familiar with this popular American streamer, Tyson Hart, he recently left his streaming career and then he delved into fashion designing. Most people thought he's crazy. And see, even I also thought he was crazy. But I looked at it and then I saw, maybe I saw part of what he saw, because that is his dream. You know, he has always wanted to be a designer. So people, you think, why would you leave your streaming career that is giving you a lot of money? But people don't know where it's going. Maybe in the next 5 years, if it becomes very big and large, those people, the same people who mock them, will be the same people to keep, like, to buy his clothing line and stuff. So when we first start out, don't be scared or don't be afraid to for people to call you crazy. Because it's not everybody that can fathom that level of boldness. You have to be bold, and some people will call you crazy, be like, okay, what are you doing? You can't seemingly go through with this, but it's you that you know where you're going. So that is that. Then sustaining, like, our entrepreneurship spirit. It told us about having integrity. If you read the chapter, so he gave an example. If you're honest and um, if you're honest and transparent in your dealings with people, even people will recommend you to other people. So so if in anything we do, we should try and be honest in our dealings. You know, if I trade with this particular customer or client and I'm honest in my dealings and the person enjoys my services, obviously, once the person gets to their own space, they are going to tell people that, oh, I met this person, I dealt with this person, and he's a very honest person. You know, just one or two words can just be it. You don't even need to blow your own trumpet or go around saying this, that. If your service and your integrity will speak for you in those kind of situations. Also, you talk about having helpers or people that keep you upright in some moments. For example, now, if you surround your people with same goals, uh, you surround your people with the same mindset as you, and the same you people have common goals. You know, it's very easy for you to stay logged in and then fulfill your actual dream. So he also mentioned that you should also need benevolent helpers. This is okay. Not everybody has opportunities for this, but like, I'll try to explain. Maybe now you have friends that, okay, they are financially capable. You should surround yourself with people in circle that have a belief in you. You know, that you can talk to. Okay, my company is going through this. Can you invest maybe this certain amount in me? That people that trust you and they believe in your goal and dream. So you should surround yourself with those kind of people. That is another point. Then sometimes it told us about, in the beginning of that, I told us following our instincts and then following our instincts in making decisions, because as a popular saying that said, your instincts never lie, which I don't totally believe, but most of the time our instincts is right. Then he said the disadvantage or the hard lesson from following instincts. Sometimes your instinct will fail. So we have to learn to own up to those failures and mistakes that happen. And and basically the story I said about him being in debt of about 220 billion. million dollars of it, how much during that crude oil crash in 2008. So I said the story about how he had to sell one of his properties, and he said him selling those properties and paying off his debt is one of the best decisions in his life. You know, sometimes when we are failed, most people just give up and then crawl into their shell and say, "Okay, life has been unfair to me," and then they just totally give up, which is wrong, which is not a good mindset for an entrepreneur. We should be able to we should be able to recuperate and then come back and bounce back with full force. Also, he also gave us a life lesson about not being wasteful or splurging. If you see that okay, you got into the business and you're making money and you're able to feed yourself, put food on your table, not being wasteful because in an instant the world can go. Imagine, just look at Mr. Otedola. In few hours, as soon as the market began crashing, just look at the amount of money he lost. In a blink of an eye, in a blink of an eye, we can lose, the wealth that you are looking at, you can actually lose it, which is the sad reality of life. You have to save for the rainy days, and we have to prepare for those times, not being wasteful with the way we spend. So, in conclusion, the key takeaway from this chapter is self-belief. That is the main thing. Firstly, you have to believe in yourself. If you don't believe yourself, nobody's going to believe you. I'm not going to invest in an entrepreneur that doesn't believe in the vision of his company. You have to first believe. Sometimes, even if the probability of that thing not working out is low, but if you believe and then you put a lot of effort, it might actually eventually work out. But if yourself you don't even believe in what you want to do, and then how do you expect other people that are meant to invest in your company, believe in it? If you have so we have to cultivate that habit of believing in ourselves, even to the extent that some people might call you crazy, but you know where you're going, so you don't care about those people. And also, when we want to do something, we should always look at the upside rather than the downside, because a lot of times, once we want to go venture into something, we tend to look at okay, uh, what are the limitations to this rather than the opportunities. You look at the limitation and be like, it's not worth it. Let me not dabble into this thing. And then you are discouraged, which is actually a bad sign. So let's tend to look at opportunities rather than limitations. And also, whatever we whatever we go into, we should whatever is what's doing well, Abby. Whatever is what doing well at all. So anything we start or venture into, let's ensure we end it well. So ending well is as important as starting well, which is a nice thing. So if we go into something, we should make sure we try and end it in a good ending. We don't know who is watching and be like, okay, how do I put it? We don't know who is watching and taking inspiration from that kind of thing. So tend to uh let's learn to end things we start uh, in a good way. So thank you very much. This is all I have to say.
Wow, thank you so much, Abdurrahman, for that very thorough review session. Honestly, I don't think there's any aspect of it that you did not touch on, and you took your time to really go into every corner of it. I think we just have about 2+ minutes left. Thank you so much. That was amazing. That was really thorough and very calmly delivered. Um, Before I maybe yield the mic to anyone that wants to contribute, I just want to add just similar to what Abdraman has said, but maybe the part that just points to me specifically is the fact that if you don't have self-belief, you won't be able to train your instincts um, to become grounded, to become convincing, right? Self-belief is like the manure or the foundation for your self-confidence. And your self-confidence is what really helps you build a very strong, very positive and driving instinct. So it's just something that if you don't have, you're already defeated. It's as good as that. There's no point. Whether you're an entrepreneur, you're a 9 to 5er, you are anything. If you don't believe in yourself, if you don't have so much self-confidence in yourself, you're already defeated because one single thing and you're out. But then the good thing is that you can boost it, you can train it, or that you can put yourself in a position where others will help you boost it. That's another way. Find yourself amongst people that are driving towards the same thing, that are doing similar things. The ground or the working ground, let me put it like that, the machine that adds towards building this self-confidence is engaging in an activity that you know that you are good at or that you know that you're going to come out well at. So because when you keep doing something and people keep complimenting that thing about you, eventually start to believe that, okay, yes, I'm good at this thing. So it's there's a lot that we can pick out anyways, but those are just my own few points. I don't know if anybody has any other thing to add. We just have 1 minute. Rahman really, really did all the work, basically. So if anybody has one or two things to just chip in before we call it a day, please go ahead. So you can either raise your hand or proceed to unmute. Okay. So I don't see any hands up. So basically, I think what I just want to say is um, let's endeavor to cultivate the habit to believe in ourselves, no matter where we are. Entrepreneur, 9 to 5er, school, uni, undergraduate, postgraduate, wherever you are, just know that as long as you have it in you to be able to do stuff, your confidence will continue to grow in that thing that you do. And keep doing what you are good at, you keep becoming more confident, you keep getting more positive reinforcement. And that's the best way to grow your confidence and your self-belief. And that's all I can add. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you for participating. Thank you so much, Abdurrahman, for that very thorough and very well broken down review. Do well to engage us across all the social media channels that we have: YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram, I believe. Share, invite more people to join. Please, we are also accepting reviewers, people that are going to continue reviewing for next week and the next lesson and the lesson after that. So if you are interested in reviewing, I think our next lesson is hire with caution, fire without regret. So if you are really interested in reviewing that chapter or that lesson, lesson 4, please reach out to any of the admins and we'll be glad, super glad to have you next week. Without any further delays, I want to say thank you to everyone who participated, all 23, 24 of you. And let's enjoy the rest of our evening. Don't forget, self-belief is non-negotiable in anything that you are doing, anything, entrepreneurship or not. You just need it to survive because it's not easy out there. It's not easy. So that confidence and that self-belief is a no-brainer. You need to have it. So let's stay believing. Let's stay fighting, and let's keep pushing and growing ourselves. Cheers. Have a wonderful evening and enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye.